Is marijuana something that we should be consuming? Is it something that should be legal? Well, Charlie Kirk doesn't think so when he talks to some college students or stoners, whatever you want to call them, on why. And I think he brings some valid points. I don't know what your opinions are on this. And I'm not fully I know what the Bible says to be sober-minded, so I'm opposed to drunkenness and I'm opposed to being high. That doesn't mean you can't have a drink every now and then. So it's just, moderation, I guess. But it's interesting to hear Charlie's thoughts on legalization of marijuana. So let's check out this video. But before we do, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to Resist the Mainstream, because it ensures to YouTube that you are enjoying our videos, and in turn, they will continually show up in your feed and it will be pushed out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
So what would be the exact issue with full legalization of marijuana?
How much time you got? So, yeah, everything from it's a false promise of liberty. So I used to be kind of for this because I was in high school and I used to say, oh yeah, people used to do weed, like whatever. First of all, it makes the places that you live unenjoyable for almost all people. And I'll prove it to you. So Denver, Vegas, Los Angeles, San Francisco, when weed is legalized, it becomes a messier, dirtier, just objectively unpleasant place to live. Has Idaho legalized weed yet? Was there a push for it? Okay, good. Ontario, Oregon has, well, I mean, all of Oregon has, I'm sure. And so that's number one. Number two, I think that we as conservatives kind of get in a trap here, right? They're like, well, if we really believe in limited government, then why are we outlawing weed? This is a libertarian argument, right? We should make stances very clearly of what is virtuous and what is good. And we should try to say our laws should, in the best case, reflect that. Now, do you want to have a conversation around locking somebody up for 20 years because they have weed? Like, that's a totally separate conversation. But every promise the weed lobby made in Denver, not every promise, but the top 5, were actually totally wrong. For example, they said marijuana usage rates will go down if you legalize it. They've gone up. They said that young people won't be exposed to it. There are more young people going into the ICU that are using weed than ever before in Colorado and in Denver. And it's this also question, and you see this all across the mountain, the Mountain West, as weed gets legalized, does crime go up? And the answer is yes. Crime does go up. And good luck trying to figure out the driving under the influence thing. I think it's this false sense of liberty where we as conservatives think like, yeah, we're going to be more free because we deregulate this one thing. And I'll just say this, it's a total blanket statement, and I might offend somebody, I really don't care, and Joe Rogan will totally disagree with me. I think weed is really bad for people. I think weed makes you lazier. I think that it makes you a less whole human being. Now, medically, maybe it can work in certain circumstances. I will yield that. It's probably better than some of the pharmaceutical stuff. I think those are small examples. But as a lifestyle drug, no, don't expect me to just give my platform of public policy recommendations and cultural recommendations and be like, oh, yeah, you could be a great person and also do weed every single day. No, I actually don't think that's your greatest use of your time, your energy. I think instead that it actually diminishes your soul in a certain sense. And I'm going to keep on standing against it. Do you have a follow-up question or thought? Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay.
And when he said a great person, I don't think he meant like the individual that you are, and the kind heart that you may or may not have is not dependent on whether or not you're doing weed or not. He's just saying that, like he said, it's not a great use of your time, and that you might, I know it does, you lose brain cells when you smoke marijuana, when you consume that. I know, so I don't think that's something that you would desire, at least not high consumptions of it. I don't have like a crazy strong stance on this, but I do think it's a net negative of all these reactions to the action of legalizing it have been displayed, because you don't want more crime, you don't want more laziness, you want people to be driven to be more than they are, work hard to become the best versions of themselves, and obviously in a crime-free area. So it's interesting. We have another video of him talking about it as well to another person. Let's check this out.
I would like to say thank you for coming to UNC Charlotte. I do have a question about you about cannabis. You probably don't get many questions about cannabis. So I would like to ask you about your stance on cannabis and then follow up with a following question.
Probably in the past overly policed, but should not be legalized.
Should not be legalized. And is it what is the reasons why you don't believe, or you believe it should stay illegal?
Now so we have an overwhelming amount of data to show when it's legalized, states get more dangerous, it gets messier, more homelessness, more vagrancy, more overdoses, more kids going on drugs, more heroin overdoses. It is a gateway drug, regardless what people say. It's laced with chemicals, with fentanyl, with hallucinogenics. Colorado went from the 10th in carjackings to 1st in carjackings, 4th in arson to the 1st in arson. third in rape to the second in rape. I mean, I could go through every statistic. Every state that has legalized weed has seen more crime, more vagrancy, more dropouts, more kids on the social outcast of society.
Would you say that when you legalize marijuana, you can see the lab tests, you can see all the toxic chemicals inside of the cannabis plant, you can see how much THC is in there, how much CBD, what terpenes, if it has limonene, pinene, myrcene, there's a lot of cannabinoids inside of
Sounds terrible.
No, it's actually good. It's actually quite unique because there are different strains with different types of benefits. Some people take it recreationally. Some people take it for medical purposes. So why not we legalize it so it's safer for our community, so people know what they're consuming, and also we take marijuana off of the schedule. Well, the drug, yes.
To make it federally legal so you can bank with it. But let me ask you this. So you say, why not? Can you give me an example of any state that has legalized weed and it's gotten safer?
And it's gotten safer? Yes. So my knowledge is basically based on not necessarily, my question is not basically about about that statistics, but
you
based
said
on
safer. I mean, that would be probably critical,
well,
right?
safer in terms of consumption, in terms of what you're consuming. If it has toxic chemicals,
Yeah, but guess what? You know, people still buy illegal weed despite the fact there's weed dispensaries on the corner in Vegas and in Denver. You don't get rid of the illegal drug market. You only enhance them to go to harder drugs and things they can't get in the store itself. There's more drug use in America than ever before, and we've legalized more drugs than ever before. It's been the great failure of the drug project the last 10 years. Every promise they've made is wrong. Oh, it's gonna weaken the cartels. No, it's not. They're stronger than ever. Oh, we're gonna get all this drug revenue. Actually, not really. There's more need for revenue because of the services that we can't even facilitate because of all the drugs. Or how about this one? They're like, oh yeah, it's better because kids are passing drugs in school. Yeah, now they're passing fentanyl in school, no longer weed in school. And so not only that, the crime, the vagrancy, the homelessness, the defecation, everywhere it's legalized has gotten more dangerous, period. So why would we want to bring that to our communities?
So it's not so that's
This guy, he said, I'm not talking about all the other things around consuming weed. I'm just talking about consuming it, how it affects our body, how it affects us as individuals. Why are you bringing up all that other relevant stuff? That stuff is relevant, but like not now. I just want to talk about how it doesn't hurt me and how I want to justify why I should be able to take it. Just let me do it. So funny. It's interesting. And these are some good things he's bringing out. Now, I don't know how the correlation is completely to all these things and weed, but I'm sure Charlie Kirk has the receipts to all of it. But it's interesting watching this guy react.
That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I was basically talking about here. What I'm talking about is basically the consumption of the safetiness of people who consume cannabis, and also there are lots of good benefits too. In terms of there are a lot of good terpenes in terms of limonene, also pinene. Actually,
yeah. Can I ask you, when was the last time you did weed, man?
Huh?
When was the last time you did weed?
Well, I may not answer that question.
Yeah, I think rather recently.
Hey, but we still respect each other.
We do, and thank you for being a walking commercial to not do drugs. Thanks for being here tonight.
Don't do hard drugs.
I know you were all thinking it too as he was asking the question.
He's like, so he's high as a kite. Homie was high as a kite. Oh man, yeah, don't do drugs for sure. If that's how you're gonna turn up, not me. That's not. I'm not talking about all those relevant things that you're bringing up to why maybe what we shouldn't be legalized, because maybe drugs are actually harmful to our psyche, or harmful to our brain development. I don't know, but. Obviously, crime has been risen in all these areas where it has been legalized. He's like, I don't want to talk about that. Let's just talk about how, like, you know, there's benefits to. So let me smoke my weed. Just let me smoke my weed. That's all he wanted, man. That's all he wanted, Charlie. You should have just let him do it. No, I'm just kidding. Very interesting. What do you guys think about this? I want to know your thoughts in the comments, because it is interesting to see the. I didn't realize all this that drugs cartels and all these things were getting stronger, because I think that was the incentive to legalizing all this stuff. Is one, obviously the powers that be wanted to be getting all the money for this. They didn't like that these illegal drug cartels were making money and what that they could be making. But at least I think that. That's my own personal opinion. But yeah, it's interesting. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to drop a like as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.